Now, we've been talking a whole lot about weapons today, but not just any kind of weapons. We want to talk about spiritual weapons. Everybody say, oh yes. Now, we have a whole lot to learn from superhero weapons. So take Thor, for example. Thor is an amazing hero, but Thor has an awesome weapon to keep him company. His hammer. He is the only one who can wield it because it was made specifically for him. Now, how many of you guys have ever read a Thor comic book? Raise your hand. A couple of you in there. How many of you have ever seen a Thor movie? Oh yeah, like way more of you. I love the Thor movies because here's what always happens in Thor movies. Thor comes up against the bad guy, and the bad guy thinks he can take Thor, but Thor is way too powerful. Because of his mighty weapon, he always wins the day. And it reminds me of a story in the Bible about a guy named Moses who had his own powerful weapon, and he always used it to win the day. That's right, Moses dominated the enemy every time, just like Thor. Now, Moses probably couldn't command the thunder, and he didn't have a hammer. But because he knew the one true God, the weapon he did have in his hand was just as powerful as Thor's hammer. So, what was this mighty weapon? Drum roll, please. It was a stick. Kind of like this one. It all starts in the book of Exodus. Everybody sit up straight and tall and say, Exodus! Now, God chose Moses to be a pretty big hero. His mission was to free the Israelites, who were God's chosen people, from slavery in a land called Egypt. Everybody say, whoa! Yeah, now with a job that big, you might think that Moses would need a little bit more than just a stick. But let's just pause right there, boys and girls, because if you look at the story of Moses, you can see that this stick does some amazing things. Number one, it turned into a snake. Awesome. Number two, it turned all the water in Egypt into blood. Ew! Number three, Moses used it to hit a rock and made water gush out of it. Super cool. And you've probably heard this one. He used this stick to part the amazingly big Red Sea so that Moses and all the Israelites could cross and escape the Egyptians. Wow. But let's be honest. It wasn't really the stick that had the power. It was the God that Moses served. The stick, it's just what was in Moses' hand. He was using it to poke some sheep because he was a shepherd. But it was all God needed. So let me ask you a question, boys and girls. What's in your hand? I don't mean like what's in your hand like right now, because it's probably mustache, cash, or candy. I mean, what's most of the time in your hand? It may not be a hammer. It may not be a stick. Maybe it's a football. Maybe it's a pencil or a pen or a paintbrush. Maybe it's a video game controller. But whatever it is, it's all God needs. See, whether you're an athlete or an artist, or whether you're really, really, really good at math, God can take what you've got and He can use it to make you a hero in His story. 2 Corinthians 10:4 says, the weapons we use in this fight are not the world's weapons, but God's powerful weapons, and we use them to destroy strongholds. Maybe what you're good at and who you are is totally different than everyone else around you. Did you know that that's a good thing? Yeah, it doesn't make you weird. It actually makes you special. See, I used to think I was weird because I wasn't good at sports like all of my other friends. But then I realized what I was good at. See, God had given me tools like art and creativity and storytelling. And I realized those were my weapons that I could use to fight the fight of faith. So what about you? What's in your hands, boys and girls? Whatever it is, use it. Turn to your neighbor and say, use it. 1 John 5:4 says this, every child of God can defeat the world, and our faith is what gives us this victory. Now, if you're up to the challenge, I want you to raise both hands in the air. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's start now, boys and girls, by getting up on our feet because we're gonna practice our brand new big idea. 1, 2, 3. I am a hero in God's story. Oh, that was incredible, boys and girls. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Now it's time for the Avengers to assemble. My favorite part, where you get with your group leaders and your friends and you talk heroes. Get ready, get set, group!